Hi there, my name's April Sawtelle and welcome to my channel. Today what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to show you a really quick way how to hem jeans and how to keep the original hem so they look really, more professional. It's a super quick, simple method. All you're going to need for this project, I've got a seam guide here, I've got a ruler. If you don't have a seam guide, just use a ruler. I've got a lint roller and some scissors. I'm going to use pinking shears, so if you don't have pinking shears, just go ahead and use scissors. And I've got some pins and I've got some seamstress chalk here to do some marks with. I've also got my iron behind me. So the first thing is you're going to need some coordinated thread. You're going to want thread that really matches the jean itself. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through my threads here. These are my greens. These are my old threads that I like to use up. I like to use it as a decoration, and then I like to just use them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the color that matches the best. And I'll pick out a few here. Okay, I think this one is going to win right here. So that's going to be the color that I'm going to go with. And I think that's all we're going to need. Let's get started. I've got these pants here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start folding them up. This is going to be really easy. It's going to let us keep this original hem, which is going to make it look really nice and professional. Okay, I know I need to take off 2 inches off these pants. So I'm going to fold both of these up. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to match these seams so they stay together here. Okay, you want those seams together. I'll start with this bottom one. And I'm going to take my seam gauge and I'm going to measure 2 inches. So what I'm going to do, I can't measure 2 inches from the hem, from the end of the hem. I need to make sure that I measure 2 inches from the inside of the hem and go 2 inches. And I'll just keep folding that up until I get to that. I'm going to push my seam gauge down to the 2-inch mark. I need to get rid of 2 inches of actual fabric, but I want to keep this hem, so that's not included in my 2-inch measurement. I'm already accounting for this hem. This hem is going to stay right there. We're just going to get rid of 2 inches of fabric here. All right? So what I want to do is I want to put a pin. I'm going to pin this all the way around as I go. Just pop a few of those in. Turn them over, and I want my seams, remember I want my seams to stay together here, and I'm going to take my seam guide and I'm just going to continue to measure my 2 inches. Adjusting as I go. And I want my seams to stay together. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this to both sides. So now you just take your little seam gauge and you just go around and you make sure you're at the 2-inch mark all the way around. Now you've gone around and you've put pins on both sides. We're going to just go over to the sewing machine and then we're going to sew around these hems, and I'm going to show you how. Grab it from the middle here, open it up, and gently pull this underneath your presser foot. And pull the underneath away so you're not getting it tangled underneath. You never want to start on like one of these seams. You want to start just anywhere else but on a seam. All I'm going to do is get my pressure foot down so I can get maneuvered here. I'm going to set this down right on that edge of this hem. Here's the hem. I'm right here on the edge. Now I need to move my needle over so my needle will go right in this hole. That'll keep right on that whole edge going all the way around. And I'm going to manually put my needle down as close as I can to that edge. My needle is actually over as far as it'll go to the left. I'm going to pop that down and I've got my presser foot down. I'm going to be sure I've got all this fabric pulled out underneath. It's all pushed way over, so I'm not going to run it over. I'm not going to sew the pieces together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go super slow. This is super thick. If you have a denim needle, you may want to use that. I am not using a denim needle. I'm just using the standard needle right now. And I'm going to do a back stitch to start off. So what I'm going to do is I want to just do a straight stitch for a minute, and then I'm going to do a back stitch. Okay? If you never plan on cutting this piece off because like you're going to, have them grow with your child or something, you might want to just put a basting stitch in here. I'm just going to use a regular standard stitch. Every machine set's different. I'm going to set mine at 2.2. So now I've got my presser foot down. My needle is over as far as it can go. And I'm going to just follow this inside of the hem all the way around. I'm going to just use a straight stitch. I am going to keep my needle over to the left as far as it will go. And I'm going to go super slow with a back stitch. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep coming forward. And I'm going to be constantly pulling this apart so I don't get any of the bottom of this underneath my machine. And you just want to go slow. It's super thick. Every once in a while, adjust. Make sure there's nothing underneath this. And just keep rolling it out as you go. And this is just one of those times you want to make sure that you are using pins. Okay, my seams are lining up. You can see here. The seams line up. Adjust your fabric. I'm going to come right over this humongous seam. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to lift my presser foot a little bit to get it started. Okay, I'm going to go so slow. Now I've lowered my presser foot back down, but I'm just going to take this one little stitch at a time because you've got two seams on top of each other with a thick, thick jean, so it's pretty hard. It's pretty thick. All right, keep going super slow here. Okay, we've cleared that. Now we're going to readjust. If you could take your machine and take the arm off so you have the shirt arm holder, that would be super. I'm going to readjust again. And be sure nothing's underneath it. Just pull this nice and flat. And another adjustment. Okay, I'm just keep adjusting here, pulling this flat. I'm going to be coming up to another seam. So when I come to it, I'm going to lift my presser foot up to just get over it. Okay, I'm going to lower it back down. And I'm just going to go so slow. And they're matched up here. You can see that. So super thick. Okay, almost cleared. All right, another adjustment. See now that I'm almost right back to where I started. So I'm just going to come right up to that, and then I'm going to give it a good back stitch right there. Okay, and then I'm going to do a back stitch a few times. And I'll cut the thread right there. I'm going to do this to both sides now. Now just go ahead and do the other side. Just remember, back stitch. And go slow. Okay, maneuver your fabric again and continue on. There, I've just cleared that seam. I'm coming up to another seam. I want to be sure to keep this nothing tucked underneath it. And I'm going to be sure to go super slow. I'm going to lift this again right here, just a smidge, just to get me up on top of it. There. Oh, it's so thick. I can hear it in my machine. Come on. Just easy does it. This sewing machine doesn't like thickness whatsoever, so gotta kind of baby her. Okay. Continue on. I can see I'm coming up to where I started. And I'm going to give this a couple of back stitches right here. Back and forth, and back and forth. And I'm going to stop right there. Now I can just go ahead and take all the pins out. I've already sewn my seam all the way around. And that thread did match really good. You can barely see that. Okay, I'm going to pull all these out. So now I'm just going to get rid of all of this extra fabric. I'm going to use my pinking shears, and I'm going to cut right into this. And I'm just going to leave a little bit there, probably like a half an inch. I'm going to cut this all the way around, and I'm going to leave about a half an inch all the way around. The pinking shears are going to make this so it doesn't fray so much. The seam is going to be super thick, so it's going to be hard to get through that piece. Almost there. There. Just cut about a half an inch all the way around. And this is what I'm getting rid of. This is the extra fabric that I no longer need. And I will put this in my scrap bin because I'll use that on something. And you're going to do the same to the other side. You may want to just get the lint off. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just sew. So it's still folded. I'm going to sew all around this outside edge that I've just used my pinking shears on, and that's going to help this lay good and flat. Okay, I'll see you at the sewing machine. I'm going to put my regular foot back on now. Put this one away. All I'm going to do here is, here's my seam that I sewed. I'm just going to sew along this pinked edge here. And I'm going to use a small zigzag stitch so it's going to help from fraying in there. You could also serge this. If you have a serger, you could just go right ahead and serge right around this, just to prevent it from fraying. Now, you're going to come to that seam again, and you are going to want to go slow. I'm going to have to pick this foot right up. I'm actually going to take a couple of my little leaders and I'm just going to fold those up. I'm going to put that underneath the back of my pressure foot because I need that lift there. I need to hold it up so I don't, it's going to be so thick. The reason I'm doing that is just so that by giving it that little bit of lift, this pressure foot is up higher. So I should be able to go over this. Using a zigzag stitch on this thick seam is super hard. It's just so thick. So you want to go so slow. That little bit of lift is just going to help hold that pressure foot up. Almost there. Okay. Now, I can still see, though, that I'm still up. You can see how my pressure foot is all crooked here. I'm going to lift this up again, tuck this underneath, and then lower. It's kind of not wanting to go under there. And then I'm just going to continue till I clear. Okay, all cleared. I'll pull that back out. Now my pressure foot will lay properly. I'm going to go pretty slow, and I'm going to do this all the way around. And I'm just staying right on the edge of my pinked edge here. And you're going to want to hold your stuff, you know, pretty high up because you don't want all that drag. You don't want it to drag all over the, you know, pulling on your needle. It's pretty heavy. Okay, coming right along here, and I'm coming up to my other seam. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift my pressure foot way up, and I'm going to just tuck this behind it, just to give it that extra lift. You can see I'm up quite a bit. Here's my pressure foot. That raised it about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. Okay, just go slow. And you might have to give it a little pressure to just glide it through. Stay that way until you clear that seam. Okay, I'm all cleared. I've cleared that seam, and I'll pull those little leaders that I was using for the lift, and you're just going to continue on. And give it a little back stitch and cut your thread right there. It's put this little edge all the way around. It's going to help with the fraying. You're going to do this to both legs. Now I've got this folded over. You can see here, it's going to leave a little bit of a ridge. That's okay. I'm going to press that down. You're going to want to press this out pretty good. Really flat. You can pull it out a little bit too, you know. Just kind of like pull it apart a little bit so it flattens out a little bit more. I would much rather do it this way because I think it just looks really, really nice. It really will not be noticeable when you're wearing the pants. I mean, you certainly can see it if you're looking for it, but if you didn't know that somebody did that, you wouldn't know that they were hemmed up pants. It looks like a nice factory hem when you're done. So if you were doing this on some old jeans, it's nice because you've got all that worn out look on the bottom, and you get to keep that. So it doesn't make it look like a fresh hem. It makes it look like it's always been there. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Remember to keep it simple. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Bye.